I was in the shower thinking mitochondria bend space time because I was reading this book by Sean Carroll a few months ago, Something Deeply Hidden. And in the book, he said Einstein's theory of relativity talks about how space time in the quantum field is bent in the presence of energy and matter. And the density that we have in our body is mainly run by mitochondria. When we don't have mitochondria function, our energy levels are so low because we can produce energy in another part of the cell, just the cytoplasm. But it's like finding $5 on the ground when you could find 50, finding 50 through the mitochondria. It's a lot more energy production. Mitochondria can create more of themselves. They have their own DNA, so they can reflect over the nuclear DNA, over your inherited genetic DNA. Mitochondria can influence the environment and say, look here, we've got plenty of energy. You over there, you're struggling, you need energy. Oh, I'm going to do it. Me and mitochondria, I'm going to go over there and give you some energy so that things can work well. Mitochondria bend space-time, bend the quantum fields. Our energy actually slows down. They say mass repels mass. So when we become more energy dense in our bodies, we literally repel off the floor, off the earth. Because mass repels mass, light is repelling light. Maybe I'm wrong about everything. I don't know. I just have this passion in my heart. And if I don't share it, it's going to explode. These healing states, like related to the respiratory rates, this is like related to mitochondria function. A lot of us are stuck in the high cortisol, high inflammation, and that they call that the high beta wave frequency, like being really anxious, being really stressed, stuck in the fight or flight response to the nervous system. When we're stuck in this part of the nervous system, our body secretes more sugar, we secrete more insulin. Our body's so stressed it puts on fat in the midsection to protect us from all the stress that we feel. And it's not even stress that's in the environment, because it's weird, you're surrounded by food. Like back in the day, you'd be in the forest and your body would go into a stressed out state because maybe there was a predator, or maybe you didn't have enough food, you were going through a fast, and the body kicked into this safe storing mode. And that was helpful to you back then. Back then it was helpful to us to be able to find food and to be able to extend our life while we find food. We break down our own sugars. But the issue is that most people just stay in this place where they're stuck in their stress response. And we're breaking down so much sugar, and then we're consuming so much sugar, and we just have our insulin turned on. Our body never goes into the... So insulin would be considered a growth factor. Our body doesn't flip into... Basically, if you're not growing, you're decaying. And, if you're not growing, you're... I want to say the word backsliding, but that's not the word. It's growth and destruction. But it's also growth and repair. Repair. We're not going to that repair mode. Where insulin is on, our body is like, growth, time to do wakeful stuff. And this happens when we sleep. That's why we don't drop into this delta wave state as much, this restorative healing state. We're not secreting as much melatonin. Melatonin is one of the biggest tumor cell suppressors. Insulin is one of the most prolific things for cancer, because it's like grow. Insulin is a growth factor. And a lot of this related, like you go to the delta wave sleep state, if it's related to melatonin, well, we trace that back. Where does melatonin come from in our food? Why do we eat? Well, when I was on an SSRI years ago, serotonin reuptake inhibitor, the anti-anxiety medications, depression medications, I found out that melatonin, if you trace it backwards, it gets broken down from serotonin. And I guess I should say I started with serotonin. So serotonin comes from an amino acid, tryptophan. Tryptophan is found in higher amounts of animal-based proteins. I tend to eat a lot of eggs and ground beef now for higher amounts of tryptophan, as well as higher amounts of lysine and methionine, which produce the second step of the electron transport chain in the mitochondria. I think allegedly they have a bunch of electron transport chains, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. I'm wrong about things all the time. But the second step of the electron transport chain within the mitochondria is the production and the synthesis of carnitine. We synthesize carnitine. Excuse me. That's my body saying, Rachel, it's time to go to sleep soon. But we can synthesize carnitine, which means we just need the precursors to that. So if I can get foods with high amounts of lysine and methionine, I can produce higher amounts of carnitine. And you can look between people who consume animal proteins versus people who don't. People who consume animal proteins produce more carnitine. Allegedly. I'll say allegedly. But yeah, so trace back tryptophan, breaks down to serotonin. We break down tryptophan through the sunlight, through the exercise, even through the meditation. Because tryptophan can break down to like a stress pathway, and we want to break it down through the light pathway. That's what I'm thinking about. It's the light pathway. It's the circadian rhythm. So I eat tryptophan, I break it down to serotonin. I break that down further into melatonin, and this is that delta wave sleep state at night, that restful, restorative sleep. This the type of sleep that you go to sleep for 8 hours, and when you wake up, it feels like you've been resting. It doesn't feel like you're tired, Deep, deep rest, that delta wave sleep state. We lose it when we're in the stress response, so as we age, you can also look at that too. Our deep sleep pattern gets shorter and shorter as we age. So we always want to be increasing it. And it's interesting, they'll say too, as we get older, we need to consume more protein. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon is a great source for this, much better than me. But why are we consuming more protein? Because the body needs more protein. It needs a higher stimulus for growth, because as we go into the aging process, we start to go towards sacred depletion, a dehydrated state, a loss of connection, a loss of vitality. Not all people, you look at people and you're like, why some people age so well? They look so good, and some people look really, really old. They really, really struggle when they, people, you take them at the same age. Take someone at 70. I work at a restaurant, so we celebrate birthdays a lot. I always ask people how old they are, of course. I've seen 70-year-olds that look like they're 55, and I've also seen 70-year-olds that look like they're 90, and it's amazing. The aging process is amazing. The youth, the muscular system is amazing, and the thing about it is the tryptophan, the amino acids. The muscle, I'm staring at the muscle picture, it's too far out of my reach with my wired headphones. The muscle is our storage form of nutrition, amino acids on the body. Because we are incredible, intelligent. I always think to myself, I don't know why this just pops up into my head, but why do they make pants without pockets? I've never, ever been down for pants that don't have pockets, because it's not useful to me if I can't put my things in my pockets. That's what having muscle is like, having pockets on pants. It's useful, it's practical. If you need something that you didn't think that you needed, it's like having a first aid kit. That's what the muscle is. The largest endocrine organ. It's our immune system backup. It's the brain's backup. So as we age, what's one thing that always happens? Elderly people could succumb more likely to Alzheimer's, dementia, diabetes, type 3, insulin of the brain. Muscle, it keeps us young, it keeps us going. The cerebellum, that balance and the coordination. I was thinking about this earlier. I was thinking about, reminding y'all about getting up on your toes and doing a still contraction. When you get up on your toes, like you're doing a calf raise, you'll feel this sway. You'll feel this wanting to lose your balance. Stay right there. If you have to hold on to something, but let yourself lose your balance. Every time you feel like you're losing your balance, and you regain it, you are engaging with the cerebellum. Why is this so important? Why? The cerebellum is responsible for muscle tone at rest, glucose uptake. The cerebellum works intimately with the frontal cortex with logical reasoning. It also works intimately with the hippocampus, the memory center of the brain, which Alzheimer's, dementia, we forget who we are. Who are you without your memory? Who are you? And what is the point of all of this? They say healing is a revelation, a realization of something. Like, not always do we have to work so hard. Maybe we just realize that, like, being in the speed racer frequency, I could just slow down and be in the holy instant. That's why I like reading the Course in Miracles. I could just be still and picture my body being in a state of health, or having a light. A light is expanding out from my heart, and all around me, I'm pushing light out into the room around me. I'm pushing my nervous system out. Nervous system is always keeping track of everything in the environment, the smell, the chaos, whatever, the good, the bad, all of it. The cerebellum is responsible for also like secondary motor coordination, secondary sight, secondary hearing. Like, the cerebellum, it's got a lot of connections, And one of those, the biggest things the cerebellum is responsible for is balance, proprioception. Proprioception is how you can feel yourself in space. So how well can I feel things like around me? How is my orientation, and balance? Like, if I close my eyes, so you get up on your tiptoes and you close your eyes, and then it becomes even more challenging because our eyesight helps our coordination. But when you close your eyes, they sway even more. So just practicing these small things, like maybe you don't have to go to the gym for 2 hours every single day. Maybe, you just practice these little bitty things. You make it as simple as possible. You eat your amino and fatty acids. Dr. Mary Newport, great lady, Dr. Mary Newport, her work with fatty acids, medium chain fatty acids. The brain is made of these long chain fatty acids, allegedly. And what our bodies do, just like with lysine and methionine, we can synthesize carnitine, the second step of the electron transport chain. With medium chain fatty acids, we can create longer chain fatty acids, and that's a lot of what the brain is made of, all these long chain fatty acids. So medium chain, according to Dr. Mary Newport's work, are very helpful to us, and this is also going to go into, fatty acids. This is going to go into the conversation. Her book goes into why we should avoid the seed oils, those broken, high oxidized fats, and go for more stable fats in the environment if we can. So if you're interested in the seed oil discussion, Dr. Mary Newport's work, coconut oil, and just getting healthy fats. That's why I eat my eggs and my ground beef, because the yolks are mostly fat, mostly healthy fats. And my ground beef's also going to have a good amount of fat in it. So I like hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. I really am a huge fan of efficiency. It's my whole job as working as a server at a restaurant is efficiency. If it's not efficient, it's not making you money, and it's not money is just energy. It's just a currency, in the body. It's just a currency. Mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell, with good reason. So anyway, that's what I was thinking about. I'm tired. I gotta go to sleep. Remember I sneezed earlier? When my body's when it tells me it's tired, it's Rachel, go to sleep, and I'll know. I'm gonna read, if y'all want to stick around, a random page from Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender by Dr. David Hawkins. This is one of my favorite authors. Chapter I happen to open to on page 223, the benefits. It's chapter 16, the benefits of letting go. I'm just going to read the first paragraph. This paragraph is emotional growth. The most obvious and visible effect of letting go of negative feelings is a is a resumption of emotional and psychological growth in the solving of problems, which often have been long-standing. There is a pleasure and satisfaction as we begin to experience the powerful effects of eliminating the blocks to achievement and satisfaction in life. We soon discover that the limiting thoughts and negative beliefs which we had naively held to be true were all merely the result of accumulated negative feelings. When the feeling is let go, then the thought pattern changes from I can't to I can, and to I'm happy to do it. Entire areas of life can open up. What used to be awkward or unexpressed can become effortless and joyously alive. I just thought about this guy that I found on YouTube not long ago. His name's Joe Hudson, and he said he tried to do an experiment in his life where he was gonna not do anything he didn't want to do for like 2 weeks or something. And he said he found it really, really hard because like he didn't want to take out the trash, he didn't want to do the dishes. And so then he was like, well, this isn't gonna work out. If I live my life like this, then it's not going to work out because I have to do things that I don't enjoy sometimes. So he said he started to, while he was doing the dishes or taking out the trash, asking himself, how can I enjoy this? And he said he started to enjoy it more. And I've been trying to do that in my own life, and really, it's really so helpful. So the mitochondria function is not just based off of exercise and amino acids and sunlight. It's based off of like the self-talk too. I can or I can't. Everything is a burden or it's a blessing. Am I in hell or heaven in my mental metabolism, my spiritual metabolism? So how can I enjoy this? And I think it's been working out better for myself, I gotta say. Mitochondria be listening. They be eavesdropping. They hear everything. The immune system's so intelligent, hears everything. So beautiful, so gorgeous. All of us, female, male, young, old, all of us. It's so beautiful. You're so beautiful. If nobody has told you yet today, wow. Anyway, I'm going to go. The reason I just have my juggling balls here, I haven't juggled on this channel in a while because I've been doing the videos where I'm sitting down. But that's the reason I learned about the cerebellum, was because when I was younger, I got bored and I taught myself how to juggle. And then I had to do these speech classes when I got into high school. My first speech class that I took of the how-to speech, and I decided to do how to juggle. So I started to look into reasons of like, why should you want to juggle? You know, because I'm giving this speech on how to juggle. Why would you ever care about juggling? Well, actually, the cerebellum is mostly made of gray matter, and when we learn to do something new, especially physical, we increase the gray matter volume in our brain, physical memory, right? So I thought that was so cool. And then when I got to college, I had to do another public speaking course, and I did how to juggle, and I did it on lemons, and I juggled in front of my class. You know, when life gives you lemons, you learn how to juggle. And it was so fun because I got to then go even deeper into the science, and I was in science courses when I was at LSU, so I really got to learn more about the gray matter and the cerebellum involvement and like why it would be good for you to juggle. So, you know, I'll do, alright, how about my next video, I'll juggle for y'all. We'll juggle together. I love, it's just, you drop the ball, you keep going. You drop the ball, you keep going. It's like, nobody's perfect. And nobody's perfect. Just keep going, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Write down your dreams. Write down your sweet little dreams that you're gonna have tonight. I love you so much. You can like, share, and subscribe, but I will catch you next time.